Hello. I just came back from work. I actually filmed this yesterday, but I don't think I did a good job, so I'm just gonna refilm whatever I was filming yesterday. So I filmed yesterday after a super long day, so the mood is like totally different. And I guess I have more energy today to actually do this properly, so let's get into it. Okay, so the topic is nothing too happy or hyper, as per all my sit down videos. It's just recently I realized I'm constantly unhappy. And I guess it's actually quite obvious looking back on all my YouTube videos. Yeah. So I'm just trying to understand why I've been feeling so unhappy. But my unhappy is not those kind that's like really loud and dramatic. Once I get it out, then it's fine. Um, it's a little bit different. It's those kind that feels like a weight over my back, or it's just like a dark cloud looming over my head, and it just sits there throughout the day. But for me, it's not just throughout the day, it has been months. So over the weekend, I felt super unhappy, a lot more unhappy than usual, and I was just trying to understand like what's really causing it. And then I guess for me, somehow it suddenly clicked. Yeah. It's not that I was just feeling down, feeling tired, feeling sad. Honestly, I feel like a lot of those unhappiness is actually self-curated in my case, which is really, I would say, it's a little bit of a sarcasm because I'm trying to understand what's causing it. But then I also realized I was the one that caused it. And the thing is, I don't cause this unhappiness intentionally, and I don't cause this unhappiness to myself consciously. It's just through all these tiny comparisons and tiny choices I make every single day, especially scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on Red, scrolling on TikTok. It's human nature to compare your life to somebody else's. It's just human nature. We all love comparing. But sometimes we just start comparing without actually realizing, especially when you're just, scrolling through your social media. And maybe at the back of your mind, like for me, I know whatever people post out there is just their highlights. But when you have like a constant exposure, like for instance, myself, I love traveling. Instagram knows I love traveling. So whatever content I see on Instagram is basically people traveling around, influencers traveling full time, people traveling all the time for a living. Or maybe not for a living, but they just have the means to travel all the time. Well, because they are a little bit far away. So I guess in the process I was thinking, no, I'm not comparing my life to theirs because we are on like a parallel line where our lines are not gonna cross. So for me it's just like, I wish I could be like them, that kind of thing. The thing is, when I was scrolling through all my social media, be it Instagram, TikTok, or Red, I didn't even think I was comparing. To me, it's just those people are just strangers on my screen, right? Because I don't know them. But somehow I realized somewhere along the line I started to measure my own life against theirs. Even though I don't even know them, like, because they're all strangers. They just pop out my feed, that's all. But yeah, I just thought to measure my life against theirs. So the comparison just happened like any normal day. I was just scrolling. Scrolling mindlessly. Then I started to see people taking trains in Europe, people's travel vlog, people waking up in Japan, people having a coffee with a view I can't even pronounce, keep on going to places that I really wanted to go, basically. So out of nowhere, I just feel this ache or sinking feeling, or probably a little bit of jealousy because their lives looks really full while mine is just empty. And then it just feels like life is happening somewhere else but not here somehow. So even if I tell myself I'm not comparing, or I tell myself, well, people just post the best of their lives out there, my brain is still absorbing these images, these lives, and turning them into like a silent yardstick. That unconscious comparison was starting to shape my mood more than I would want to admit. So all this comparison and this reminders that I'm living my everyday life, well, the void is pretty huge, so that's where unhappiness sort of sits there. But there's also another layer to this for me, because it's not that I can't travel. In the next few weeks, I would actually have a lot of time to travel because I just quit my job without a plan. So I'm technically free to travel, not bogged down by annual leaves. But there's also another thing that poses itself right in front of me, which is, without an income, where do I get my means to travel? The first thing that comes to mind would be from savings, right? But when you don't have a constant stream of income and you live off your savings, even if you're doing financially okay, you would just suddenly feel this need to be more cautious, be more careful, and more responsible with every dollar you spend. Yeah, for me, I still have a month-ish to go, yet I'm already conscious with whatever I'm spending on. And I guess this actually feeds back to the insecurity regarding money for me. So it's not that I can't go, I can if I want to, but there's also all these mental cages that I put around myself, like I don't have the money to travel, or I'm job searching, I shouldn't be traveling. Mostly about money. The timing feels wrong, but again, there's never gonna be a right timing, which I know that, yet I can't really go past that to bring myself to travel as much as I want to. I might just go for 1 or 2 trips, but it's nothing as compared to the people that I've seen online where they are just gone for weeks or even months, which is something that I would really love to try. So speaking of traveling, there's also another thing that hits me the hardest, which is, it's not that I didn't travel this year. In fact, I think I traveled most this year as compared to a few years back, 3 years, 4 years back. I had a few trips, one for work, the others for whatever reasons. I just wanted to get out, and so I did. Being in Southeast Asia, I guess traveling is a lot easier as compared to being in Australia. And it's also a lot cheaper. So in those moments when I traveled, I felt alive again. I felt free, and it's just screaming like this is what I've been missing. But every single time I come back, maybe after a week or so, the same empty feeling would just creep back again. And it just felt like I'm stuck in a loop. I escaped, I felt better, I come back, I feel the same void and unhappiness again, and it just repeats itself. So that also made me realize travel wasn't actually fixing the problem for me. It was just like a temporary escape. There's still this comparison, this fear of missing out on whatever things out there, the responsibilities, the self-doubt. So all of this insecurities and whatever that's causing me to be unhappy, it's still waiting for me to come back to it. And I still have to come home after I travel, so basically it's just sitting there waiting. So I guess part of why I feel stuck is fear of not landing a next job fast enough, fear of not being safe, fear of doing something that's irresponsible, fear of things going wrong when I'm far from home, fear of whatever things out there. So you see, it's the mental cage I built for myself. Of course, the reality aspect is I quit without a backup, so technically I don't have any income until I find my next job. That's the reality part. So there's this kind of internal walls that I built to protect myself, and when I see all these feeds that social media feeds to me of people traveling, this combination just built this really quiet and really real kind of stuckness in me, and hence I feel unhappy constantly. And it's definitely not because phones are bad or social media is evil. It's not. It's just because when you're already navigating fear and uncertainty, responsibility in your life, scrolling through other people's highlights on Instagram, on whatever platform, it's not helping. It becomes a trigger. It makes the gap between what you want and what you're currently doing feels so much bigger. It just amplifies it. You think you're not making a comparison. Like, I didn't think I was making a comparison between my life and all these other people's life online. But you are doing the comparison. It's just you don't notice it. And when you notice it somehow, it's already, I guess it's kind of like an accumulative thing. So when you notice it, you just suddenly feel really small, really behind, really unimportant, and I guess in a way bored of your own life. Like how I was bored of my life, and I guess I'm still am bored of my life. But again, when I look at it objectively, I'm doing a lot more things in my life as compared to, you see, I'm comparing again. That's what I'm talking about. So anyways, I'm not saying this to urge you guys to do a digital detox. I'm not going on a digital detox. But I just understand why people need it. It's not to escape from their phones, but to escape from this tiny unconscious comparisons that start chipping away at their peace, like how it's chipping away mine. I did book a spontaneous trip though, last month, and it's happening in 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember. It's really spontaneous with zero planning. So I'm also not gonna start deleting my social media applications because I use them. It's also my creative outlet, so I'm not gonna delete them. It's just I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware that my unhappiness comes from a mix of reality, fear, and in a way maybe some kind of peer pressure that I impose on myself, and also the comparison trap I wasn't even aware I was in, but good that I'm aware now. And maybe the first step is not to run away or escape to another country, because like I said, I traveled to a few places this year, yet it just feels like a loop. It's just gonna pause that unhappiness for a while when you're traveling, but it creeps back when I'm back. So I guess first step is just me being honest about where I really am and giving myself permission to figure things out slowly. Honestly, I guess I also realized over the past few weeks, I don't even know what I want. Like, I really don't. Finding a job is for survival, but it's just I'm finding a job because I need to, but I don't know if I or how much do I want this. Basically, I was just trying to say I don't even know what I want for my next time in life. So anyways, back to it. The weekend did not fix anything. It's just me realizing what's causing me to be unhappy. And I guess it sort of helped me to remember I also have my own life to live. I can't just live my life being unhappy while looking at someone else's highlights. So yeah, if you also feel very unhappy in your life, maybe sit and think about it, whether it's because it's triggered by what you see online. Because honestly, when you're online scrolling through whatever platforms, you just start to compare your life with others unconsciously. And day by day, and every minute you scroll, it just starts adding up. So if you're also going through something similar, this, I guess, being aware of it is the great first step. But besides this, I don't have anything else that I know how to advise you on. I'm also figuring this out myself. So I guess we can just figure this out slowly together. One honest moment at a time. To help us start living our own life again. Because every life is unique. Anyways, that's the end of the video. I hope it's helpful one way or another. If it helps you, please like and subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.